Welcome back to Prep Sports Now. I'm Case Kiefer alongside Ray Brewer here to break down another exciting stretch of high school football, both a look back at last week's games and a glance at what's ahead for this week. And last week, Nevada acquitted itself pretty well in a bunch more of these out-of-state games. Gorman and Miami Central in an absolute classic that came down to the wire. Meanwhile, the continuation of the Polynesian series, I believe, or whatever they call it, Liberty ends up getting the win. Desert Pines, a narrow fall. Pretty fun Friday, despite the rain, Ray.
Yeah, I feel bad because there's some teams who've had two games canceled. But once everything kind of dried out, or I don't know if dried out's the right word, because it was slippery and sloppy and everybody slapping around. But three really great games featuring Vegas's premier teams against national opponents. Of course, Gorman against Miami Central comes down to the fourth quarter, a little drama, and the Gales prevail, basically make an argument to win the national championship. I think it was 39-35. Great win. Everything you want in a high school football game, except with a bunch of college-ready prospects playing it. And, Liberty hangs on to beat Campbell of Hawaii, where they needed a stop on their half of the field to close the deal. Liberty's at 2-1. They've had three kind of crazy games. They started at St. John Bosco, was winning after the first quarter there, put up a great fight against the defending national champions, and then then they rallied to beat St. Louis of Hawaii, and then they kind of held on strong last week against Campbell. And then Desert Pines, they were up against St. Louis of Hawaii, kind of blow the lead, maybe ran out of gas a little bit. But again, Desert Pines skills players case as good as they come by.
Yeah, all three of those games, I know we touched on the same ones, but all three of them decided by less than a touchdown. I feel like it's not very often throughout the season where the first three games we're talking about at the top of the podcast are all this tight. So definitely a rarity there. In the local games category, I guess, I don't know, you'll have to correct me if what my standouts are wrong, but I guess the first thing that jumps out to me is the streak is over. Silverado does suffer a setback to Mason Dew and the Falcons. That's a big one, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because Foothill, depending on who you speak to, is now the favorite to win that Class 5A Division II state championship. And it's because of Mason Dew. The kid could sling it around. I got a note on Instagram over the weekend about just how good the kid is, and he really makes a difference. What was also impressive is that Foothill kind of ran the ball because of the weather to get this win. They played defense, a lot of turnovers on both sides, but the Falcons end Silverado's 26-game winning streak. It's quite the streak, right? Hadn't lost since 19, won two state championships, greatest two-year run in Silverado history. Coach Andy Ostalaza, a guy who's been doing it forever. He just had some great teams and great players, and I think this is an opportunity for us to celebrate how great they were, instead of saying, okay, well, they lost to Foothill, it's over, they're probably going to lose some more. Yeah, they're obviously going to lose some more games this year. They got Gorman and Liberty, but shout out to what Silverado was able to do. A tremendous 2 great years, and we are now Foothill Falcons or bust. Foothill getting that opportunity that Silverado got the last 2 years, kind of in the lower league. And Mason Dew, baby, let's get it done.
Yeah, one of my favorite players in town for sure. And I don't know if we said the final score, 24-16 here. So another touchdown game if you consider the 2-point conversion. And I mean, statistically, this was really even. It looks like Silverado did some good things. Marcus Council over 100 yards rushing, but the difference really was the quarterback position. Dew two touchdowns through the air, and we know it was slippery. Silverado had 2 interceptions. You win the turnover battle by 2 or more, you're almost always going to win the game. So Foothill did that. And we got to give Dew some love for his legs, too. He was Foothill's leading rusher, had a rushing touchdown. So I think that he's a big-time difference maker at that level. And It's one of your theories, Ray, that the Jimmy's and Joe's best player on the field. I think it fits both. I think you could make a case right now that he's going to be the best player on the field in that class, or at least in the conversation. So maybe that's what leads them to ultimately contending for a state championship.
Yeah. And I still worry about the Foothill defense. Week 1, they went into California, of course, and they gave up 63 points against Clovis East. And granted, it's a California school, and you're not going to get that from Faith Lutheran or Green Valley, or maybe even Sierra Vista or Vegas in your league. But to give up 63, it's by far, not a strength. So, could they get in a shootout? Are they going to start resting on their confidence of winning a few games? Went into Moapa, won pretty handedly, stopped Silverado's win streak. Those are 2 great wins. How do they respond? Do they get complacent? Because league plays here, got to start winning now. It's all that matters.
Yeah, league play definitely going to be ultimately what you're judged on, that and the playoffs. So that will be interesting to watch. I know we've hit on a lot of positives and been happy, but now I got to bring one up that I'm sure is painful to you this week. The perfect Northern Nevada trips are over because Faith Lutheran falls to Reed. It looks like 38-24.
Yeah, Faith Lutheran couldn't get it done. They've got an interesting problem. They have got a really great running back in Breslin who's got some college offers, but they're not really racking up the yards on the ground, which tells me the line's coming into shape. And they've got 2 quarterbacks that Coach Mike Sanford says he likes both of them. And they're really not – they're having a hard time moving the ball. They rallied to get that win in week 1 against Paolo, have struggled the last 2 weeks, including losing at Reed, which tough to go up north, but still, it's a Vegas team against a Reno area team. And that just leads me to say that second tier is really wide open because, you got Foothill, who's been hot, Faith Lutheran that has some Jimmys and Joes, but is 1 and 2, and Green Valley that's getting killed. But we expected them to be good, and they played Sierra Canyon last week, the number 3 ranked team in California, got hammered on the road in LA. It's nicer at night there. 63-0, but would you rather lose 63-0 to Sierra Canyon or beat Rancho like Vegas did? Obviously, rivalry game, bone game, very important, but are you getting better playing Rancho? Rancho about to go play Lincoln County this week. Or if you look at Foothill went to Moapa Valley. Tough to play at Moapa. But again, when your offensive guard's 5'9", 5'10", $180, Lake Tahoe guy could confirm that for me. I just think Green Valley maybe is the team to beat in that league.
Yeah, that league certainly interesting, and even more interesting now. Even though Green Valley 0-3, they still figure to be a part of it. Foothill actually the only team to have 2 victories right now at this point in the season. Yeah, I don't know. So is it still Green Valley and everyone else to you, or who do you go with?
Yeah, and that's where I think if you played Sierra Vista put a 70-0 spot on somebody as well. So if you put Sierra Vista in the mix, it's just a fun league.
Yeah, I forgot Sierra Vista. They're very confident this year too.
They are. They're quarterback making it happen. I just don't know. I think if you ran that league 3 or 4 times, you might get 3 or 4 different outcomes. And the one thing like Basic, for example, which is part of that group, they had 5 turnovers 2 weeks ago against Silverado, or it could have ended Silverado's losing streak or winning streak, right? And then Basic comes out from week 1 to week 2, makes the jump you're supposed to make, and crushes Carson. Granted, lower level team from Northern Nevada, but absolutely crushed them. Where does Basic play into this? Right? Is the battle for Boulder Highway, which is coming back? Does Basic play into this? Right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I don't know either. I feel like I came into the season high on Faith Lutheran. I thought you were shortchanging them, and maybe they should be there right there with Green Valley. I might be planting my flag now. I might be a Foothill guy. I've been impressed with what they've done. And I'm so bad about learning the new leagues. Whereas I know they're further down, but Centennial played Snow Canyon and basically to the same score that Green Valley did. I know we've sung the Bulldogs praises already this year, but looks like they're really having a bounce back season. They could have a chance in one lower level or two lower levels than this.
They're at the. I don't know. I think they're Division 5 or Class 5, Division 3, and needless to say, the DJ Campbell. I love talking to that guy. You can just tell, like,
the kids want to play for him.
Well, you
right?
can tell when somebody knows football. Super smart. Went to Cal. They say that's a good university.
Yeah, playing your Auburn Tigers this week.
Watch
out at Cal.
Auburn's got to be what, a 28-point favorite?
Oh, yeah. Well, come on. Don't insult DJ Campbell like that. 6.5.
Oh, my God. I love Auburn. That's fun. Wow. Yeah, so I love talking to that guy. It's so weird looking at the realignment and how awful it looks like. Canyon Springs this week, CK. This is Canyon Springs. This is DJ Pumphrey, right? NCAA's all-time leading rusher, right? This is Jerron Kreiner, played for the Raiders and in Canada. This is Ravion Samble, Devontae Christopher, right? U of U, maybe the best quarterback we've seen in forever, right, CK?
Yeah, I mean, Canyon Springs, they have the
They're
history.
playing
You can't...
Pinecrest this week in a league game.
Yeah, that's that.
Pinecrest.
I don't think
Pinecrest is.
I've heard the name. That's as far as I can go.
People like me who are too cheap to pay for private school, they send their kids there thinking they get a better education.
Okay, we don't need to insult the poor
right.
Pinecrest,
no, but
pine cones or whatever they are.
And it's weird because like Mater East is undefeated, right? Dan Barneson's team at Somerset just went to Flagstaff and planted their flag and won 40-something to whatever.
Oh yeah, I saw you tweet the photo of that picture. That was pretty that was pretty nice. Shout out to them because it's still a new program and everything. I thought that was an impressive one. Impressive win at Flagstaff. And we've said Barneson's a great coach for years and years now, but I think he's proving that now at a new program.
That and it's just listen, the dude could coach, right? You get like him or one of his disciples, Travis Foster at Shadow, right? Shadow's like 22-6 in the last 3 years because they're consistent. You run your weight room a certain way, you go to camp a certain way, you run plays a certain way, and that consistency breeds success. And you look at the team, like the most successful teams in town, Desert Pines, right? Tico's been at the school since like 2000, head coach for a decade plus, won state championships, right? Rich Morocco, dude, when he took over Liberty, they were like, I don't want to insult any school, but they were off, CK. You remember, right? And look, Morocco's been there forever. They won state, they're a national brand, right? Gorman, no questions asked, consistency, right? Browner's been there for a while. He's making good use of the resources, very organized, structured. The coaches that have been there for a while, then you look at teams that struggle, right? They're getting new coaches, not only the varsity coach, but the lower level coaches. So shout out to everybody that's winning. Shout out to everybody who's trying. Did you see the Boulder City Eagles?
I did not yet. And I just add to that. It's not only just it's just the infrastructure. It's the same. We were joking about college, but it's the same thing. You get the infrastructure in there, a coach, the expectations, build up the program. So yeah, shout out to all those guys. But I did not see Boulder City, but I know they have a good young coach as well.
Yeah, Bubba got it done. It was 45-8 over Valley. Valley, obviously not a premier team, but Boulder City's opening it up a little bit, baby. Spread the ball around. And it was fun to see. It was the Thursday night game. So, and between my 2.5 Men reruns, I was able to catch a little bit of it. 2.5
Men. That's one of your shows. I didn't know about that.
Did you ever watch that show?
Maybe way back in the day. It's been a while.
Oh man, yeah. It's a shame when Austin Kutcher replaced Charlie.
Yeah. Before we get to the picks, just to circle back real quick to the beginnings, I don't want to give it short change. From what I've heard, the Miami Central Gorman game may be one of the best in years. I know you've covered some great Gorman games over the years. I've been at a couple of them. Where's this one ranked, and how can you describe the action, what we saw at Fertitta Field on Friday night in a delayed game, right? 90 minutes delayed.
Yeah. So Webster was there for us, thankfully, because the game got over 11:40. But from everything I've seen, it reminds me of the rain that came down when they played Bosco and Josh Rosen was the quarterback, which was the game they had to win Ponies last year to win the Natty. And then it reminds me of the St. Thomas Aquinas game that I think you did, right? Bubba Bolden, Bubba Lion with the big block, and then Baggio Ali Walsh, 2-point conversion, clinched the Natty in 16. So I think it's going to go down as one of those games. And I think a lot of that is just because Miami Central is super quick and athletic. And that was a heavyweight bout, bro. Let the big dogs eat.
Yeah, I always feel like I think all of the South, but including South Florida, which some people don't consider the South, but I feel like it gets shortchanged in these high school football arguments. Everyone jumps to Texas or Ohio. There are some game teams down there from where I'm from, and I think Gorman's learned that over the years.
Would you say, because you grew up in Kansas, you have roots in the South? You lived here for more than anywhere else in your life, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, you got my bio down. Thank you. All right.
Concurrently, this is the longest you've been in one spot. Is Vegas a top 10 market for high school football?
Ooh, top 10. I think we've made. I love Vegas and I love the high school football community. I would never want to put it down for anything. I think top 10 is a stretch. I think it's gone so much further when I first got here. I think top 25, I'd say hands down, but 10, that's pretty far. You have one of the 10 best programs, that's for sure, but top 10's high.
I think the top tier with Gorman, Liberty, Arborview, Desert Pines is top 10. I think the middle tier where you get like the Shadow Ridges of the world, doesn't hurt your argument, but I think our bottom part really brings us down. Like Western hasn't won in forever, right? Valley's inconsistent. Those schools that are there that, remember, like Western used to be a league game for Gorman like 5 years ago or whatever. And that's not going to do us any favor. So you're right about that. But let's get to the picks, CK. I had an awful week last week. I went 14-8. Might have been the worst week of my life, my picking life. And it's just a reminder that even though I do go 90%, it's not the Bible here, folks.
Yeah, and I feel like this isn't all that rare. I feel like you've had some troubles early in the season, and so have I. These are when the games are more competitive. I think you're going to settle down and start stringing together the 19-1s and 20-0 starting, maybe this week, because there's less they're getting less and less of these tough games with a bunch of unknowns. But who knows? With the realignment, could be some more parity game. Let's just jump right into it. We'll start with Basic at Sierra Vista.
Basic at Sierra Vista. It's the television game of the week. Listen, Sierra Vista's toughest test so far. The Lions are undefeated. Basic is, I think, better than I thought they should have been, or than I believe they would have been. I'm going Basic close, but they're probably the dog in the game, CK.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went with Basic here. I feel like the Mountain Lions are angry with you. You're giving them bulletin board material. I feel like they don't feel like they're getting enough respect. They got some really good guys. Defensively, I don't see them giving up almost 30 to Basic. I think they're better than that defensively.
My boy Anthony Vega could run and pass, and we'll get it done.
All right, I'm saying like 24-14 or something, a little bit lower scoring. I guess I've got the under. I'm going Sierra Vista. Gorman still has another national game. This week they welcome a Centennial from California, who I believe they played a couple times in the past.
Yeah, this is ESPN U. Watch it on the U for Gorman. And there's no way they lose in this spot. They might be a little banged up from the emotions of the rain of last week, but if you win this one, you got a great chance of adding to that national championship wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gorman here is going to be my pick as well. Used to be kind of a rivalry. I feel like Liberty's really pulled ahead of them now, but Coronado visiting Liberty. Can the Cougars build back up, back to where this is one of the games we circle on the calendar each year?
So rivalry in every sport, the battle for St. Rose Parkway or whatever they call
The
it.
Rose Bowl,
Rose
back
Bowl.
in the day.
Yeah,
I loved
the Rose
that.
Bowl back in the day. But I think Liberty, stretches its muscles and a little tune-up because next week they got Gorman in a league game.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me, as I've lived most of my time here in the Coronado zone, now in the Liberty zone.
Even you moved to the Liberty zone.
I guess I got
Loyalty's done.
I guess I gotta go with Liberty. I gotta stick with the new school district. I'll go Liberty as well. Probably a similar score to what you have in the picks on LasVegasSun.com as well. Silverado now tries to avoid a losing streak, and that's going to be a tall task going to Desert Pines.
Yeah, I think, again, I can't speak highly enough about Desert Pines. I love their skill position players. They're going to beat Silverado, and I want to see them against Arbor and Liberty. I think those are going to be great weekends.
Yeah, Desert Pines, really been impressed with them so far this year, despite the loss to St. Louis last year. I'm going to go with DP as well. Green Valley at Faith Lutheran. Talk about games you'd circle on the schedule. I mean, we kind of thought these might be the two top teams in their class, as we talked about earlier. A little more complicated now, but this still seems like it'll have major implications.
Yeah, so I think both. This is must win for Green Valley, right? They're 0-3. They've had a 6-8 team from Utah that they led at half and ran out of gas. They traveled to Utah, had an awful first quarter, and then of course they got hammered by Sierra Canyon, which when they scheduled the game, it was before LeBron decided to send his kids there.
Yeah,
and I think this has to be must win. If Green Valley is what I say they are, they should be able to control up front. I got the Gators, and I think Green Valley should try to run the rock.
Man, close game. I would have picked Faith Lutheran at the beginning of the year, but even though Green Valley's winless, I've been a little bit more alarmed by Faith than Green Valley. Is that fair? I mean, the one win they have was it was like a walk-off field goal, right? I mean, they barely won.
Against Paolo.
Yeah, it could easily be 0-3 versus 0-3 here. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be jumping ship, but I'm going to say this is another really close game that Green Valley ultimately pulls out.
Right.
But I will say Faith Lutheran's got a lot of talent. I would look out. I would not be surprised if whoever loses this game can still win the state championship, in my opinion. That's not crazy, right?
Yeah, but I'd hate to be an 0-4 Green Valley team with Foothill and Basic that thinks they could get their Henderson Bowl back. Still,
man, you were just all in on the Basic train. I didn't see this coming a couple weeks ago. Mr. Basic over here.
I love me some Cahill.
Yeah. All right. Arborview at Shadow Ridge.
Arborview at Shadow Ridge. Obviously, this is Shadow Ridge's moment, right? They developed their program in the lower level the last 2 years. They get promoted to the top level. They're neighbors with Arborview. They're fighting for kids. Let's see if this misdirection offense could run the ball. They ran for 500 yards last week against DO, and Arbor has struggled. They're 0-2. They had their game canceled last week. They're struggling to get their expected lineup on the field. This is as good of a chance as ever for Shadow to beat them, and I still don't think it's close. I think Arborview gets healthy and wins.
Yeah, I don't know. Shadow, they've built a great program. All the respect for what they've done over there, but not quite at Arborview's level yet. I mean, it took Arborview a long time to get to this level. Maybe Shadow will be there in a few years, but right now this is still Arborview's game, still Arborview's series. I've got the Aggies. Durango at Foothill in another league opener.
Durango at Foothill. I mean, you got to go with that. I just don't know if I trust Foothill yet. I want to trust Foothill. I want them to win state because that's my home school, right? But I could see them turning the ball over 7 times and losing this.
Turning the ball over 7 times. They won because they won the turnover battle last week. We already went over this. I don't know. I'm in on Foothill. I can't believe that Yeah, we got Mr. Basic, and I guess I'm Mr. Foothill. I think Foothill wins this game. Durango has been impressive too. They won at least one game that we thought was kind of a toss-up, but I got.
And they lost last week to Coronado, who's got a great assistant coach, Steven Jackson.
But it was Steven Jackson, assistant coach. Interesting. Yeah. It was like they got blown out though. It was relatively competitive, right?
Yeah.
I think they're not. I think they're not going to fold up for anyone. But I'm going to go with Foothill Valley at Sunrise Mountain.
Sunrise Mountain.
Yeah, Sunrise. I don't know.
I don't even know why I thought twice about it, but I think I was trying to say something nice, but Sunrise Mountain.
Yep, let's go Sunrise for both of us there. Somerset Losi at Centennial. We already talked about Dan Barnton and his program building. He's beaten Centennial a few times before. Could he pull the ultimate shocker this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, he's going. This is Centennial enrollment of 4,000 people versus Somerset Losi. They've got 200 boys in the school or whatever. I'm sure I'll get corrected on that. I just don't. To me, I think that they got one of the Politnikov kids playing quarterback, Vladimir or whatever his last name is. I think Centennial crushes them.
Ooh, crushes. That's strong. I think Centennial will win. I was just trying to make it a little more.
This is like Centennial.
Did you see what Somerset did?
State champions.
But did you see what Somerset did in Arizona last week?
Name on the front of the jersey, CK.
All right. We'll see. That didn't help the last couple of years where Centennial was winless, but they're looking better this year, and I do think they'll win the game as well. Chaparral at Del Sol.
My Cowboys can't lose again, can they?
I think they got this one.
Okay. Let's get the wing tee or the double wing or whatever they call it.
It's been a long year.
It's been a while since I could hold my. Did that guy
do that? No. That guy didn't die. No, that's Stained.
So Stained?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Smash Mouth. Steve Harwell, rest in peace. That's who passed away. Starts with an S. So you got that. Pahrump Valley and Slam.
Slam. Oh, my Slam. This is my jam. Next. Let's go.
That was not even close to the right lyrics, but yeah, Slam. You did really well with the Stained song, not so much the Hot Jam song. But anyway, and I'm not even sure whose song that was. I don't remember.
From the Air Jordan movie?
I haven't watched. From yeah. But I don't know I don't know the artist.
You haven't watched the Air Jordan thing on Netflix?
Yeah, I haven't watched the Sonny Vaccaro one.
Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on Amazon though, I think.
Oh, is it on Amazon?
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever it is, we watched that. I loved it.
Yeah, I know you're a fan, and you don't like movies. So if anyone else hasn't seen it,
baby,
if anyone else hasn't seen it, Brewer praising a movie is extremely rare.
I'm in on that. Have you watched any of the Jack Ryans?
No, I haven't seen that either.
Is that because I'm an old person and I like LL Cool J?
I would maybe watch that. Maybe.
It's really
a stretch. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Cheyenne and Bonanza.
Yeah, bro, this is I got nothing on this game. I don't.
So you went with the old 8-6 score.
Who did I pick? I don't even.
Bonanza.
Hey, give me the bang.
So yeah, I think I'll also go with Bonanza. Legacy at Cimarron.
Legacy. I'm high on. I'm telling you right now, this Zach Monticelli kid, he could coach.
You've been saying that every week for.
I know he's gonna have to prove if he's a young kid in his first job, he's the future. He's got some kids. They win this game.
Cimarron did get a win last week, so shout out to them. But
the Desert Duel game.
Yeah, they won that rivalry game. I got to agree with you here. I feel like I'm only exclusively agreeing with you this week. It pains me to say, but I think you got it right.
We got the Packers.
I'm going to go with Legacy. Oh, we got Packers, Bears different, and Basic Sierra Vista. We got different, and we got another different one coming up too. But it's not going to be this one because we've kind of already alluded that we like Canyon Springs over Pinecrest.
Yeah, I don't know why they're playing that one.
Yeah. All right, here's my team. Spring Valley at Desert Oasis. Get out of here with this pick.
Okay, first of all, did you see what happened to Spring Valley over the weekend?
Something in Arizona. That's all the information I got.
Killing.
Okay.
They lost 66-6. You don't recover that quick from that case.
666. That's the Devils high school football game.
Yeah, that might not have been.
Okay, well, whatever it was, I don't have that score in front of me.
Called Perry of Arizona, and somebody from Perry kept tweeting at me like I was like the Spring Valley coach or the Spring Valley Twitter coach. Like Yeah, don't go down to Arizona, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it was 66-6. The Perry Puma.
You're not welcome in Perry.
Yeah, I don't even know where it's at. But either way, tough loss. You don't recover from that. Now, Dio, like, this is a big game. League opener. I got the D-backs.
I've got Spring Valley, my Grizzlies. I think they have some top end guys, and it'd be tough for Desert Oasis to match up with. So Spring Valley for me in a close one. Another out of state game. El Dorado is hosting Coachella Valley.
Isn't there a big music show there every year?
Yeah, there's the title Coachella. Yeah,
Coachella.
in India, which I believe is part of the Coachella Valley.
Well, I got Coachella.
All right, yeah, Coachella Valley. You're probably right on with this one as well. I can't disagree. Virgin Valley versus Democracy Prep. We're high on Virgin Valley, but Democracy Prep's been better than expected this year too. They knocked off your Cowboys a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yep, my Cowboys. They're not beating Virgin.
Yeah, I think we both are high on Virgin, and I think for good reason. Virgin Valley for me. Matter East hosts the new, well-rounded Boulder City team.
Boulder City. You can't score 48 and not carry that over.
Yeah, I think Boulder City's offense is clicking. I will agree with that. Cactus Shadows, interesting school. I feel like I see a lot of these out-of-state names play here once every few years. I don't know if Cactus Shadows has ever come up here. They're going to Las Vegas High.
I take my East Side guys. I'll take the Wildcats, the Kitty Cats.
All right, well, I'm going to go with the Arizona school because why not? I feel like it's some kind of a theory you have that you're supposed to go with the out-of-state opponent. I don't know. Cactus Shadows. And then lastly, the Meadows at Moapa Valley. It can no longer be a theory that you're unable to win in Moapa Valley because Foothill sure did it. But the Meadows, a little bit of a different story than Foothill. I'm going to go with Moapa Valley.
Yep, I agree, CK.
All right, so we are going to agree on that one too. Moapa Valley for each of us. I believe the only games we disagreed on was I had Spring Valley and Sierra Vista, and you had Basic and DO. Is that it?
That's us.
Might be the only different ones. As always, any parting thoughts before we rejoin next week?
I want to thank everybody who called in on Friday night. As I was telling you earlier, it was one of the rare times where I ran out a little bit of steam, and I had to go to bed and get a few gamers posted in the morning. So thanks to everybody who called in and support us to send us your scores. We love doing it.
All right, for Ray, I'm Case. Thanks for listening to this edition of Prep Sports Now.